When we look at day one of last week, Nathan pulled himself back a little bit and did less, and coming off his first game back in the lineup, what are you seeing different now?
Yeah, I think just getting feel for continuing to find out what he needs, right? His ability to process the information and understand the install and all those type things, allow him to go out there on the field and get what he needs, right? So he did take more reps today, than he did last week, which is good. I know he always wants to get out there and get reps, but I think he's feeling okay. I think he's feeling good.
It seems that he's in a really good place with this offense and how he sees it and how comfortable he is. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I always like to see it as you're always growing and evolving, right? It's that's the great thing about this game and offensive football is, all right, now what else can you do, right? So I think we're getting a good feel for each other and the communication and how we see the flow of each game, right? And I think the flow of the game, he felt it, just like I did, and we were able to do some good things.
Got the ball out of his hands real quick, either quick game or RPO. How much of that was what Edmonton was giving you versus maybe trying to protect him a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously you look at all scenarios going into a week, and that's part of our offense. That's part of the CFL, and that's what it is. And we were efficient with it, right? And when you can continue to be efficient, stay out of second and longs, your playbook is still open, right? So I think it was a little bit of both, but at the end of it, it's what was working that day.
Last one for me is just Nathan talked about wanting to get McInnes the ball a bit more this week. Are you seeing that too? A guy that's done what he's done to maybe make him a bigger part of the offense?
Yeah, I think in looking at it, he definitely wasn't targeted enough. We're never just gonna say, hey, force feed a guy, here and there. The ball end up finding you, right? So obviously we want to get everybody involved.
What are the unique challenges that come with facing a Corey Mace defense?
I think they're extremely well coached. I think they're disciplined. They're always gonna fly to the ball. When everything starts with them up front. I think they do a good job complementing their front seven with their back end. You see very little, busts, miscommunications, things like that. I think they're cohesive. They're on the same page, and you got to go out and execute as an offense, and you have to do that, up and down the field and consistently. There's not going to be anything free from them.
They had a little bit of a down week last week. How much do you take that tape into account versus other weeks, considering the circumstances that came in with the delays and the things they had to deal with?
No, I mean, they're a good football team. This is pro football. We're going to get their best.
In terms of your defensive line, you got a couple of guys who are injured who are coming back, and Jonah Tavai and Dwayne Hendricks. You got guys like Tomasio Lalile who's playing some really good football right now. How are you going to manage that aspect of your roster?
Yeah, we'll continue to look at what's best for us this week, and where we are to win this football game. So we'll have conversations on that, but it's a good problem to have. Those guys are playing hard. They're getting after the quarterback and great job stopping the run. I really like the group for sure.